all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, everybody. How we doing today? Hopefully everybody's doing well. Okay. So today I wanted to touch back with this whole Travis Hunter thing. And this is not a video about trying to say nothing to him or warn him or anything like that. But what I'm seeing seems to be narcissistic behavior coming from his girlfriend. Now, because I'm not a licensed therapist, I can't diagnose her. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I cannot diagnose her. But at this point, it's looking like she has narcissistic traits. She kind of walking like a duck and talking like one, at least from my perspective. So I wanted to kind of take people through this behavior, because she took to social media to try to clear her name and clear her image and clear what she's telling everybody is a misconception about who she is in her relationship, which at this point I'm not really invested in the details of their relationship or anything, because he'll see it whether it's too late or not. So this isn't some type of like I said, this is not some type of warning or anything like that for the young man. I want to show you the video that I am referring to, where she kind of talks about things.
Adidas pop-up shop this past weekend. People are saying that I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Just sit here? That's not what I said. First of all, I said, baby, do you want me to sit here, or do you want me to go with the family, or do you want me to come with you? Because what y'all don't know, again, off of a 7-second clip, is those weren't fans, by the way. He had already finished that part. He had finished meeting with the fans. I was there the entire time, taking pictures, talking to them, everything. The girls that were there, they were the Adidas, they worked for Adidas. So we were taking pictures for social posts. That's who those people were. I wasn't annoyed with no fans at all. I'm never annoyed with fans. So that's what that was. And then Travis was getting ready to leave. He had to be at a rehearsal for the Heisman ceremony. They had to do walkthroughs and stuff like that. So I was asking him, I was like, do you want me just to sit here? Do you want me to go back to the hotel? Like, do you want me to wait for our family? Because his family was in there shopping. But the Adidas, because Adidas let them go pick out stuff in the store. It's like a 4-story Adidas. So they're all doing that. I was like, what do you want me to do? Like, do I stay here? Do I come with you? Like, what? And he was like, you could do what you want. Like, you could sit there. You can go shop. You can come to the hotel. You can walk around. That's what he was saying to me. I don't know. Like I said, the things that I see people make up is truly crazy, because it's not what happened. And I just think people are just finding every single little thing and trying to make it something it's not. And then bird brain individuals are just accepting what they see online. Okay, now the last thing, this actual Heisman ceremony. This is making me so mad because anyone who knows me knows I support Travis in every win, everything he does, because I truly, truly love that man. He is perfect in my eyes. So when his name was called, I instantly was going to, if you watch the video, you can see me, because Adidas let them go the video, you can see me like, but his mom didn't get up. So I was like, oh, maybe I don't get up. Maybe I just sit here with her. So I sat there, and then y'all said Coach Prime had to tell me to get up. No, he didn't. He said, go get him. Go get your man. Like, and once Travis stood up, but he didn't have to do that because I was going to do that anyways. As soon as I seen Travis get up, then I thought it was appropriate to stand up, greet him, congratulate him. But then there was a camera right in front of Coach Prime, and I knew they were going to film that moment. And because of how people are online, I was like, I don't want to be in that shot, so I'm going to sit down. So I try to sit down so I'm not in the camera while I'm crying. People are going to be like, oh, why is she crying? Like, stuff like that. And so I got out of the camera purposefully so they can have their moment. That's all it was. No one told me to stand up. No one had to tell me to celebrate with him. I was just sitting there crying. I wanted to take it in myself too. I was super excited for him. But the video, you can see me like, but I wanted the moment to be about him and his family. And that's another thing. People are like, why did he sit next to her? Why was his mom? We had assigned seats. I didn't have a choice where I sat. They are obviously going to put someone and their partner together. So I had the seat right next to him because that was my assigned seats. I didn't have a choice. And then the hugging thing. Travis came and hugged me because he just went down the line. I was first in line, then his mom, then Coach Prime. He came straight to me first. I didn't tell him to do that. I didn't have to tell him to do anything. He's a grown man. He can do what he wants. But yeah, everyone is making this crazy narratives in their head. So I just wanted to clear it up. And that is the truth. That's what happens in all those videos. And I will not be addressing this again. I didn't want to address it, but here we are.
I mean, I'm just not buying what she's selling. Coming out to try to clear your image because you were acting a fool and you weren't anticipating the vast majority of people who witnessed it to peak game on how you acting with this boy. You did it at minimum twice that I've seen. Most people are coming to a consensus about what they saw. So you can't gaslight us. You can gaslight him. He has an emotional attachment to you. We don't. So we don't care about your gaslight. You stood there and you argued with that man after that ball game. And the way in which you were gesturing in that other video and the way he was trying to, like, his gestures reflected that he was trying to be apologetic about or trying to appease at that Adidas event. That wasn't you asking sweetly if he wanted you to sit there, because that question could have waited until he was done. You're there now. Sometimes when you get into a situation, you're there now. You're there now. So getting up, walking off, making an exit and all that kind of stuff, you're that ship sailed. So you needed to either be sitting and being quiet, or you needed to be sitting and being pleasant to the people who may have spoken to you or things of that nature. You should have squared away with him what you should or should not have done during that event, or what he wanted you to do before the event started, or if there's a break in the action. Then you can pull them to the side, baby. I'm kind of getting tired of sitting here, but I don't want to mess your stuff up. You want me to keep sitting, or do you want me to go away? Or, how do you want me to play this? And then he let you know what he would prefer you to do. Or you can be an adult and just sit there. What you fidgeting? What you, a toddler? Don't know how to sit somewhere and just, you may not want to just sit there long as he there. Maybe you don't, because you're the focus. You're not doing anything. You see what I'm saying? Your name ain't on the paper to be obligated to be at the event. However, you're at the event, aren't you? So then now there's a decorum and there's an etiquette to this stuff now at this point. You can't just be willy-nilly going in and out and all this other type of stuff. His appeasement of her is what tips me off that she might be displaying narcissistic behavior. Because see, when you're in a relationship with a narc, you got to please them. Now, for those of you who don't understand how anybody could get caught up in such a relationship in the first place, on the one hand, I'm glad that you don't understand it, because that means that you've never been in it. And I would not wish that you were in it, because being in a relationship with a narcissist is not fun. It's actually rather traumatic the longer that it goes on. Because they don't start that way. Okay? They don't start that way at all. They don't start that way at all. Exactly, babe. See, he gonna start learning not to take her nowhere. Not to include her in any of his public things that he must do, because she's going to purposely ruin the moments. It's his appeasement of her and her consistently now ruining special moments. These are things that narcissists like to do, because they don't like when the person that they have chosen to suck their energy, they don't like it when that person gets the attention that they feel they should have. Let me explain a little something to you about narcissism. Narcs specifically search out people known as supply. And there's low level and high level supply. Low level and high level supply is differentiated by how much, a couple of things. How quality is the person themselves? Like, do this person have really good qualities as a person? Is this person particularly talented at anything? Are they particularly good at anything? Are they particularly smart? Are they particularly, anything like that? Narcissists like to attach themselves to such people. And the reason that they like to attach themselves to those types of people is for a couple of reasons. Number one, they like to attach themselves to those people because they wish they were those people. They like to attach themselves to people with the qualities that they wish that they had, that they portray to the world that they have, that they don't really have. Okay. So that person represents everything that they themselves as a narcissist would like to be. But the narcissist is not that person. They're the total opposite of that person. Now, for as awesome as the person is, the person may have one or more insecurities that can be exploited. The narcissist looks for any chink in the armor, anything that the person might be critical of themselves about, or maybe they don't feel that good about certain aspects of their personalities or themselves, which everybody has certain things that they're critical about, okay, with themselves, be it small or big, okay? Sometimes people are their own worst critics, okay? And they hold themselves to high standards, and when they don't meet their own standards, sometimes they're quite critical about those things or things that they perceive as flaws within themselves. The narcissist will exploit that, okay? That will be the avenue that they use later on to devalue a person. The narcissist knows that you're valuable. They know how awesome you are. They can see it. Other people can see it. But you, as the person, you might not be able to completely appreciate all of your own good qualities. So they play on that. That's a part of manipulation that they will use. This is what will be used later to devalue you and to manipulate you and to gaslight you and all these other things that they're going to do, that they like to do. Okay. Travis is good supply. He's an excellent supply. Travis is smart. He's exceptionally athletically talented. He seems to be a good-hearted person. He seems to be a person that is likable. He seems to be a person that can get along with people, that people like to be around. Okay, an amicable person. He seems as though he has all of these various positive traits. The chink in Travis's armor is his self-esteem and his self-image, specifically when it comes to girls and his own looks. Somewhere along the line, somebody told Travis that he was not attractive. And the girls, probably in school and high school and stuff like that, would friend zone him and, things of that nature. And he probably couldn't really get the girls that he wanted to get. So that was a little bit of self-esteem issue that Travis has. So to compensate, he excelled everywhere else. Everywhere that he could excel, he excels. That one thing, though, bothers him. Okay. Now, he doesn't see his worth. He doesn't see his worth as a man, as a person. He sees it as a football player. He sees it as a son. He sees it, as a student, perhaps. But he doesn't really see his own worth just without all that stuff. Okay? He doesn't really see that within himself. The reason that I say he has an esteem issue with that is that he did not respond the way that a person would with her treatment initially. When he initially sought to be with her, the level of rejection that she gave to him, okay, this is probably some rejection that he expected or has received before. So it didn't deter him. He's like, no, I'm going to keep trying. This girl played him left and right, left him on read, didn't want to talk. She even has a video where she explains this.
And I'm Hispanic, so I have tequila like in my veins. So I drink. I don't drink a lot, but I drink. And I used to party and stuff. And he would literally drive me, sit outside for hours while I'm inside like partying, and then take us home. Like he never tried to be like, oh, just because I drink, you can't drink, or you can't hang out with your friends, or you can't, go to drink. He doesn't drink. And I'm Hispanic, so I have tequila like in my veins. So I drink. I don't drink a lot, but I drink. And I used to party and stuff. And he would literally drive me, sit outside for hours while I'm inside like partying, and then take us home. Like he never tried to be like, oh, just because I drink, you can't drink, or you can't hang out with your friends, or you can't, go to drink. He doesn't drink. And I'm Hispanic, so I have tequila like in my veins. So
he used to take me to parties and wait outside until I was done. She knows how the public will perceive that about him. See, now she's going on not a full-fledged smear campaign because she's not discarding, but she's publicly taking him down a peg or two by presenting him as a simp, because she knows that other men will see that as a problem. Why would you take a girl to a party that's supposed to be your girl or whomever, don't go into the party with her, waits until she come out smelling like tequila and balloons, get in your car, and you drop her back off, baby, did you have a good time? And all that kind of stuff. No question about what she was doing in that party, and she wasn't concerned about how you would have felt should you known what she was doing in that party. Okay? So this kind of treatment, he accepted it. Okay? All in the pursuit of her. A girl that he felt and still feels that is above his league, out of his league, and that he should be grateful that she allows him to date her. See, sometimes when men who have a little bit insecurity when it comes to women will fall all over themselves if the supposed woman that's supposedly out of his league gives him a shot. Then he'll be like, oh my God, like he won't know what to do with it, and he'll start simping. See, I'm used to being around men that feel like it ain't no such thing as a woman out of his league. What woman? Which woman? The first time I heard a man say that, it was my dad. It was my dad. He said it to me. That was the first man I ever heard say that. He was like, there is no such thing as a woman out of my league. There's no such thing as that. He was like, every woman is in my scope. Every one of them. Every woman I go after, I got a chance to get her. He was like, I don't care what kind of money she got. I don't care where she come from. I don't care what kind of education. I don't care how she look. I don't care what other man like her. He was like, I don't care who's in her vicinity. If I have my eye on her and I go talk to her, she's susceptible to me and she's accessible to me. Period. He's like, because I'm that dude. I already know. I know how to move around women. And it was at that point, I'm an adult at this time. And it was at that point, I said, oh, wait a minute. Why my daddy call himself got game? Like daddy got game? No, your daddy and you don't have anything, sir. But taking a step back, instead of seeing him as my dad, I took a shift of my perspective and saw him as a man, just as a man. And I said, yeah, daddy got game. Daddy got game. I watched him do it. I've watched him spit game at chicks. He was like, I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. She was gorgeous. You know, one of them kind of almost like she Hasididi. He just rolled up and started talking to her. First, she tried to play him. He was like, he ain't even let that do nothing. Because my daddy was quick on the uptake. So he'll have a little joke for you. He'll spin it around, something that you said real quick. He'll spin it real quick. He real slick. I said, oh, you slick. I said, oh, you slick. Daddy was slick. I said, oh, okay. He was charming. So I'm only really, there have been men around me in my life, whatever, that's like, there ain't no such thing as a woman outside of me. I can get anybody. Like he had that confidence. Hey, I ain't gonna, step on your toes. Hey, but some men do feel like there are men, that there are women that they can't touch. Okay. Now that don't always make a guy a simp, but he be feeling like, man, I'm saying, I ain't even gonna go over there and shoot my shot to that one because I might not be able to pull her, blah, 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 for whatever reason. Travis strikes me as a person that might be his one little Achilles heel, and she's exploiting it. She's exploiting his lack of attention that he gets from women. Okay. He's a young man. He's up and coming. He's already had some measure of success as well. And that's the one area that he's not experienced in. I'm going to tell you something else about it too. The reason why Travis is being hard-headed, because please don't think that no one is around him that's actually around him that know him and know her, isn't wiring him up. He's being wired up. The reason why he's being kind of hard-headed about this is because Travis is a pleaser. He has done everything that the people around him have wanted him to do and said was in his best interest. He's done those things. He's obedient to Coach Prime and the people like that he respect and people that he feel like have his best interest at heart and stuff like that. He just strikes me as that type of person. He's played by the rules. He's done everything step by step that he was supposed to do. He's done well in school. He's done well in sports. He's made those sacrifices. He's lived his life according to him, how other people have wanted him to live it up until this point. This is this part of his life, he doesn't want everyone else to have a say in it, because this is for him. He's doing what he wants to do just in this small scope. He doesn't want anyone to try to tell him what to do in this particular sphere of his life that he finds to be very private and things of that nature. He feels like, I do everything that y'all want me to do. This is mine for me to decide and for me to handle the way that I want to handle it, not the way that everyone else says to handle it. And I understand that. Like, I can get that part of it. I'm not lacking empathy for that. Right? Because people do, especially men, want to have a sense of control and a sense of autonomy in their decision making, right? Because how does he ever get good at his decision making if he doesn't make his own decisions for good or ill? Right? And so that's not wrong. He's not wrong. for that. Again, he's a young man. And so young men do have to enter into their problem-solving era for their own personal lives, and they're gonna make mistakes. The only thing that we hope is that he doesn't make a mistake that is tragic for him in the long term. You just hope that he doesn't make a tragic mistake, but he's going to his as he develops his problem solving skill set, he's gonna have things that don't pan out. But there's no other way for men to develop that skill. He has to develop that part of his leadership where he's able to solve problems properly, because trial and error. I tried doing things this way. I tried doing things that way. It was horrible. It didn't work. And now, as I get older and more life experience, I understand why it didn't work. Now, when I'm faced with a similar issue, I know what not to do. And I actually know what I can do now. Sometimes it's not that bad, right? The mistake that you make. Sometimes it is. This one might be one of the very problematic mistakes that he's headed for. But he gonna have to make a mistake with a woman. Unfortunately, he gonna have to make a mistake with a woman. We was just hoping that it wouldn't be this bad, like something that really takes him off his trajectory. And hopefully it doesn't, right? But it's just that we're older and we can see it. Because we don't have any emotional connections to her or to him, we can see what he can't. Okay. So it's something that I wanted to go through, because he appears to be going through a narcissistic relationship. That's going to be worse than any money she can take from him. And the reason I say that is because that can rob you of your sense of self. And it's critical because he's young and he's still establishing his sense of self. You understand? He's still figuring out what kind of man, not what kind of football player, not what kind of man he's going to be. He's still figuring that out. He's young. He's very young. He's like 20 or 21. That's a baby. That's a baby. When in the grand scheme of life, that's a little baby. He don't know. There's so much he don't know. And he has not been having girlfriends and stuff since early. Because see, some boys had girlfriends, 10, 11, 12, 13, some little girl. And then so kind of he used to girl attention. So it don't have as big of a devastating effect when he get girl attention. Let me share something very critical. The narcissistic abuse cycle. For those of you wondering, how do people even get caught up with a narc? If narcs are so bad, how do people even get caught up in the first place with them? So this kind of explains a little bit about narc traits and narcissistic personality disorder, which it kind of falls on a spectrum a little bit. There's the height of it is the person is diagnosably a narc, and kind of less than that, they may not be diagnosed as such, but it's close. So it says the narcissistic abuse cycle refers to an abusive pattern of behavior that characterizes the relationship of people with narcissistic traits. It involves first idealizing a person, then devaluing them, then repeating that cycle, and then eventually discarding them when they are of no further use. People with narcissistic personality disorder, otherwise known as narcissists, have a grandiose sense of self, unreasonable expectations of favorable treatment, and a marked lack of empathy for others. When people have narcissistic traits, they often have difficulty maintaining interpersonal relationships across all areas of life, including home, work, and community. Their relationships with others can be emotionally abusive. While it's common for people to have narcissistic traits, the severity runs on a spectrum. Note that people can be in a narcissistic abuse cycle with someone who is not a full-fledged narcissistic personality disorder. Okay. Now, here's the first stage. First stage is idealization or love bombing. This stage is also known as the appreciation stage and is typically characterized by love bombing. The narcissist creates a sense of instant connection with you. They make you feel unique and wonderful. They put you on a pedestal. No matter what type of relationship it is, whether romantic, friendly, professional, or otherwise, it moves very fast and has a fervent quality to it. That's the stage where that's the getting caught up part of it. Okay. The love bomb, the making connection, or it appears that they make a genuine connection with you. Okay. They achieve this by doing something called mirroring. They mirror your personality, your likes, dislikes, hobbies, things you find exciting, things that you find to be interesting, and things that you like. They'll mirror that. Yeah, I like that too. Oh my God, you like those too? Oh my God, you understand what I'm saying? And that creates a sense of, oh my God, this person is so special to me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is my soulmate. This is a person who really is, you know what I'm saying, connected to me, and they really get me. Like, that's what the feeling is. This person gets me. This person understands me when other people don't. This person accepts me when other people don't. And so you gain an emotional attachment to this person that is difficult to break. When you're good supply, they spend a good amount of time doing the love bomb stage. When they want you to be a supply for them for a long time, they will spend a long time, a couple of years sometimes, doing the love bomb stage, because this is important. If the love bomb stage is cut too short, or they don't do it right, when they start the devaluing, you'll see it and you'll leave. They don't want you to leave. They don't love you. They don't like you, but they do want to use you. You're useful. So therefore, they do not want you to leave. Okay? So this portion, that's why it's first. That's why it's the first thing that they do. Because without that, laying that foundation of connecting, you're genuinely connecting. They're not. They're not doing any connecting at all. And as a point of fact, they're not connecting with you at all. They want you to connect. You're the one capable of emotional connection, not them. They're not capable of that. They don't know how to love nobody. Okay? They don't know how to love nobody. They're not capable of that. So they're capable of recognizing when other people love, but they can't do it. So they are attempting to set a stage where you love them. They fake to love you. You don't know they're faking. Okay? In a romantic relationship, a narcissist will dazzle you with gifts and compliments. They make you feel special. They appear to be overwhelmingly attracted to you. It will seem that they have fallen in love with you, and it will feel destined to be. Despite seemingly innocent or endearing, controlling tactics present early on. For example, they may guilt or shame you for spending time with others outside the relationship. They may also break boundaries that you've previously communicated. In a friendship, narcissists will praise you, spend a lot of time with you, depend on you for all sorts of things. With a boss, you'll get the feeling you're the dream employee. No one else is as good at the job as you are. And there will be hints of raises and promotions that do not actually materialize. The other common manipulation tactic is that a narc may use during the idealization stage includes fake empathy, showing excessive interest, making false promises, and mirroring the victim's words and actions. Okay? The next part of it is the devaluation. The devaluation stage, also known as the depreciation, comes next. Start slow. The narcissist will start dropping subtle hints that you've done something wrong, you've forgotten something important, or that you hurt their feelings. You then start to feel insecure. The indicators include passive aggressiveness, backhanded compliments, excuses for their own poor behavior, subtly criticizing you, stonewalling, which means they don't show any feelings or anything when there's an emotional situation, mind games that first seem harmless, name calling, no-win situations, lack of empathy and validation, comparing you to others, ridiculing, and humiliation. She's displayed excuses for poor behavior, subtle criticism of him, backhanded compliments of him, name calling, called him a cheater, okay, and ridiculing, humiliation. She humiliated him twice publicly. The narcissist will accuse you of things you didn't do and then keep pressuring you until you wonder whether you actually did it. This is known as gaslighting. You question your memory and your sanity. You find yourself starting to wonder why the narcissist even puts up with you. It's a terrible feeling. You question your own memories and judgment and strive to be better so that the narcissist doesn't abandon you. The striving to be better, this is the pleasing and appeasing them. Appeasing them constantly. Constantly triple, double, quadruple checking you when you're not doing nothing. You're not doing nothing. But they make you feel like you're doing something to them. Or that they make you feel like you're doing something to undermine the relationship, or that you're doing something to break the relationship. And they make it seem really severe. And so because you connected in the love bombing stage, you feel the desire to save a relationship that really doesn't need any saving because it's not real. So you're the one fighting for this relationship, which really is fighting for their validation. You want them to see you, to recognize you, because slowly what they've started to do is wall you out of the relationships to where it's one-sided. You give to them, they don't give to you. Okay? So you see them, you validate them. They give you no validation at all. Little to none. Every once in a while, they breadcrumb. Little validation here, a little sex there. They know the thing that they did that made you like them. They know that. So what they'll do is they'll breadcrumb that person, the person that you fell in love with. They know they're not that person. They have no interest in being that person. But it's beneficial to breadcrumb you, to give you the hope that maybe these things can go back to the way that the relationship was initially. That's what you're trying to do. Get the relationship back to where it was when y'all first got together, because that was the best part of the relationship and you'll never get it again. You're trying to figure out how the relationship is going so badly because you're doing everything that you can to make sure that the relationship is upheld properly. But the gaslighting and the manipulation tactics, all of these different things work and conspire against you. Remember, they are not connected. So none of this hurts them. You being hurt, the relationship, quote unquote, going down the drain, none of that bothers them. They're not bothered by none of this. Okay? What they're trying to do is get the relationship to a point where they don't have to meet any of your needs and you don't expect them to meet any of your needs, but you meet all of theirs. So they want a relationship where they do nothing and you do everything, and then the relationship will be okay. And then the moment that you don't do everything that they wanted you to do, the relationship is kaput, it's horrible. You know, we on the verge of breaking up and all this other kind of stuff. Okay. So this is what I see when I constantly see him trying to explain. They put you in a position where you always got to explain. And it don't be nothing going on. She did it twice already. After that game, he had to explain whatever it was that she was talking about. At that Adidas event, he had to explain why she had to sit there and what he was doing and how long it was going to take. And in the middle of, they don't care that it's in the middle of something that you're doing for you. Okay? They don't care nothing about that. Narcissists don't care nothing about that. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things that they kind of get off on. They get off on making you miserable at times where you should be happy. And they downplay everything that you do. Again, this is a form of jealousy that they have. And this is why you're supplied, because you're actually the awesome person that they claim that they are not. So they jealous of it. Yet, because you're that person, that's what makes you, they're siphoning energy off of you. They're siphoning that energy off of you in the hopes that somehow siphoning that energy off of you makes them that, but it don't. Because they have no self-awareness. They're never wrong, so there's nothing to correct in their eyes. They don't have nothing to correct. Literally, they're never wrong. See, I'm gonna say this too. It should sound familiar, these narcissistic traits, because modern women suffer from the majority of the boneyard suffer from narcissistic traits. And when you read about it from a psychiatric point of view, everybody says, oh, we don't really know where it comes from because it's a demon. See, it's not a mental disorder, it's a personality disorder. And in my personal opinion, just my personal opinion, personality disorders are different from mental disorders. And 9 times out of 10, personality disorders are from a demonic source. It's from a lack of spirituality. There's something lacking in your spiritual sense that's got you acting like that. I don't know. I can't say every single personality disorder because I don't even know all the different personality disorders. But I can say that from the ones I have observed, from borderline personality disorder to histrionics to cluster B personality disorders, narcissistic personality disorders, all of that is rooted in the spiritual value. Most of those people that I've encountered lack a sense of spirituality and connection with that. They don't have a good connection with spirituality. They may fake like they have a good connection with it, but they don't. Because if you had a good connection with your spiritual self and with Allah, you wouldn't act like that. So in my personal opinion, it's a form of demonic energy. It's a shaitani energy. Okay. Okay. This is all still part of the devaluation stage. They may also engage in narcissistic projection, where they avoid accepting responsibility for their own behavior by projecting it to someone else. Emotionally abusive tactics such as warnings, ultimatums, punishments, blackmail, threats of self-harm are also common ways to manipulate and undermine the victim. Repetition. Devaluing can leave you feeling depressed, anxious, confused, and scared of losing your relationship. You might either try harder to please them or pull away from them. The narc will feel hurt and enraged at your attempts to distance yourself from them. Then the cycle of idealization and devaluation starts all over again. This is the breadcrumbing that I was referring to. Oh, let me reintroduce the person that I know that they like. Let me start doing that part again to reel them back in, to get the person back hooked on, well, maybe the person not so bad, or maybe the relationship is taking a turn for the better and we can recover it. This is what the breadcrumbing is about. They suddenly behave very nicely towards you, shower you with compliments, make you feel valued again. However, as soon as you feel secure in a relationship, they devalue you once more. Finally, and this repetition stage can last years. It'll last as long as you stay. It can be 20, 30 years. A narc never gets tired of it. Discard. Discarding can play out a few different ways. The narc might decide they're done with you and you have no further use for them. The rejection, typically swift and brutal. Or you wake up one day and realize that this partner, friend, employer, acquaintance, whomever isn't healthy for you and you try to leave. The narcissist might start love bombing you again, and the cycle of idealization, devalue, and discard will repeat until you break free. Who's targeted? People who are, this may include people who are socially isolated or lonely, have a history of trauma or abuse, have low self-esteem, are financially dependent, deal with chronic illnesses, or are emotionally dependent or reliant on each other. Okay? Or reliant, on others. Narcissistic abuse toys with your sense of self, your sense of what's real, and your emotional safety. It's common to feel like you're exaggerating, that you're too sensitive, or you're blowing things out of proportion, especially if there was no physical abuse. They really like to hang their hats on no physical abuse. if they're not hitting you, if they're not going upside your head and like physically doing something to you, they will swear to God they're not doing nothing to you. Okay. It's a consistent gaslighting situation where you're the problem. You're the problem. They're not the problem. Whatever they do, it was your fault. I'm going to touch a little bit on the Remy and Papoose situation. The only reason I have not done a video or live stream on that is because it's still unfolding. Right? This is coming out. That's being said. That's being said. But this has that has undertones of the smear campaign in a discard phase. Because this summer, I believe it was this summer. Was this summer, wasn't it? Or was it last summer? It might have been this summer. I get it mixed up. These years are moving real fast. She got outed for allegedly being unfaithful in her marriage. This was done via a rap battle where the bars were very scathing and they were very pointed. Now, Papoose did not come out to make any statement about that initially. He did not say anything. He did not confirm. He did not deny. He said nothing, okay, publicly. So it kind of died down in reality because he wasn't talking about it. It died down. Pretty much people wasn't really checking for it. It was like, oh, but the problem, it died down, but with her looking like the villain in the story. Because people was like, man, he held you down. Like you was locked up. He kept everything going. He was visiting you. He held you see what I'm saying? And all that type of stuff. Right? So it died down, but yet it did so with her being the villain. People was on Pap's side and was giving her a side eye. Like, you cheated. And then they was laughing at her too. Like, okay, he a Temu version of Pap. Like, he kind of low-key looked like him a little bit. Like, you got a type. And so people was like, oh, well, nothing else was really said. So people didn't really drag it no more. Yet she continued to be the villain in the story. Okay. People was like, nah, even chicks was like, nah, Papoose, we ain't never heard no foolishness now with his name, with no females or nothing like that. So you kind of tripping, Remy, because he's the guy that women be saying that they want, yet you cheated, you broke your marriage, so we giving you a whole side eye. Now, see, she I don't know where this latest blow up of the internet is even stemmed from. I don't even know what sparked that off. But now for the past week or so, it's been back and forth with all these posts, posting text messages and all this other kind of stuff. Finally, Papoose speaks out publicly. Like, you're not going to keep dragging my name. Why you keep, and in one post, he actually does call her a narc. He calls her a narc. And he's like, you're dragging my name. I've not said nothing publicly. I have not spoke out. I've been trying to handle this like an adult with you. But now you want to be messy. So now I'm going to post stuff. I'm going to say stuff. I'm going to have something to say. From the outside looking in, it looked like to me that she just did not like the fact that the court of public opinion did not favor her. So now it's all of this stuff about, well, when I was in jail, he cheated and which I don't even want to hear it. Personally, I don't want to hear it. I don't even care. Why don't I care? Because it's a bunch of chicks that even if they call themselves still wanted to deal with the guy after he came out, she ain't finna sit on that thing for no 6-7 years before. She not sitting on that. She is not sitting on that. She is gonna have her somebody that she having sex with. And these chicks know it. They know it. They are not, they can't be faithful long enough while dudes is at work, let alone in jail for no years doing no bid. And would look at you stupid to even ask them that. The most they gonna do, the best they gonna do is when he get out, the little thing they had, you know, he gotta go. If they really wanted that guy, the little thing, he gotta go. He can't, they gonna block him and all kind of stuff. Like, you gotta go because my real man here now. So you was just something to, you know, do. You was just something to do until he got out because I'm not sitting on it. Now all of a sudden, let's just say allegedly Papoose did something with another woman in 6 years. So, and here's the thing. He didn't embarrass her with that. We heard nothing. I don't remember no scandals. I don't remember no scandals concerning him with no women. So whatever he did it discreetly, quietly. And if he did have a chick, they didn't say nothing either. You can't ask for more than that in these types of situations. What that man supposed to do? And all of this stuff is allegedly anyway. Because we don't know what really happened, what didn't happen. But it's still not looking good on Remy. It don't look good. This whole thing, this don't look good. This is not a good look. Because again, from the outside looking in, just as an outsider, it just looked trashy. Because why come you can't handle this in-house with him? Whether y'all break up, whether y'all make up, whether y'all still, you gotta be around each other because you co-parenting, you still have children. So whether y'all divorce, don't divorce, get it together, or say, hey, we just gonna have an open marriage and all that kind of stuff, whatever the case may be, why come you couldn't handle that quietly? Why come you could handle that between you and your husband? It's not our fault that you allegedly was with a guy and he a chatty patty. He told somebody. That's not our fault. That's not our fault. Papoose tried to keep it in-house. He tried to not have this whole internet spectacle going on. Because it's really no need. It's really unnecessary to have a spectacle happening. But you don't want to do that. You didn't want to do that. You took it to the internet. Now people can speak on it. Now people can have an opinion of what's going on in your relationship, in your household. Leanna, Travis Hunter's girlfriend, did some stuff publicly. Now people got an opinion. Now she mad that the public opinion does not favor her. So now since her public perception is bad, she got to try to throw a little dirt on his name. Oh, well, you know, he was DMing me when he was with somebody else. So, you know, he was kind of cheating. What is that to say about that man and you engaged to him? What is that to say about him? Why would you say that about him? Why would you say that about him? Whatever his shortcomings are or are not, why would you come to the world to tell him? See, this is why these is not lionesses. These is hyenas all the way around. Because a lioness would never. Why would we come to publicly shame our husbands and tell the world his shortcomings and tell the world his issues? Exactly, baby. Because my image look a little bad, so now I'm gonna make it. You know, he ain't the innocent guy everybody think he is. He not the good guy everybody think he is. That man, that Travis ain't no type of player or cheater. He not that guy, because he's just not that guy. Because you got, in order to be a player with women, you got to get a bunch of women to play with. And he knows he don't even strike. The way he behaving with her tells me that he's not the guy that's just got a whole bunch of women and a whole bunch of this. You know, he just the hoes is lined up. He don't even have that aura. So you got to exactly. They're never the bad. They're never bad. Which brings me here. They're never bad. See, a narcissist is never wrong. In their eyes, there's no such thing as they're wrong. No such thing ever. They're never, and when I say never wrong, I mean 100% of the time they're never wrong. 100% of the time it's you. It, according to them, every time something go wrong, it's you. It's you. That's where the doubting of your reality come in at. Like, wait a minute. Because ain't no way I'm just this horrible of a person. And if I'm so horrible, why you here? And then, you know, here they come with, well, you know, I'm just trying to help you. You helping me? Okay. Narcissists want to overshadow you in every aspect of your life. They want to control you and feel appraised by everyone around them. Okay. I'm going to run quickly through a couple of these. They always talk about their latest successes, even when it has nothing to do with what's being talked about. They lose interest when someone else receives appraisals. They don't care. They can't support it. It's not them, so they don't even care. Narcissists are never wrong. It is never their fault. When something goes wrong, you can bet a narc will say it wasn't their mistake. They will find someone or something else to blame. In Leanne's case, it was the cameras. The cameras was to blame. The seating arrangements was to blame. Everybody but her. Her reactions, not her fault. They always play the victim. Did you hear her try to get a wiggly voice? Did you hear her try to get a wiggly voice? In the midst of that, and I just always support. Not a single tear. They are always the victim. They are good at playing victim. If something is not going their way, they make it seem like they've had the toughest time. This isn't just to get you to feel sorry for them. It's also a way to try to control the situation. They will say everyone is against them or making small issues sound huge. They do this to get attention, to make people do what they want while making themselves look like they have overcome a big challenge. So this was quintessential to what she did. You know, everybody else making a big deal. Why was it a big deal? You know, y'all the one got the misunderstanding. They give you empty promises. They say yes to lots of things. But when the time comes to do what they said, they will make excuses and forget about it. They have a bottomless need for compliments and approval. Okay? They're not shy about fishing for them. When confronted with mistakes, they weave a web of excuses rather than confront the problem. They will always blame others, okay? They quickly point to other reasons and people that are to blame. It's because you didn't remind me. It's because the instructions were wrong. You understand? It's your fault. It's always you. They anger very quickly. If you call them out, they don't take no criticisms. They always play sympathy. They can tell a sad story like no one else. Makes them look like they've been wronged. They always want to be in control. Okay? They don't care about your feelings. They demand your undivided attention. They are envious of your success. They are charming, but they are superficial. They don't care about your feedback. They live in a fantasy world. They exaggerate how important they are. They are experts at holding grudges. They have shallow relationships. They will disrespect your boundaries. Fantasies of grandeur, hypersensitivity to any criticism, manipulate your emotions. Loving them is the most dangerous thing you can do, because that's gonna be the tool that they use against you. Your care and your love for them. They like dramas. Starting up drama, it keeps attention on them, makes them feel important. They are always lying. That's a key. That's a whole bar right there. You can't trust nothing the narc say. Nothing. And see, the problem is you don't know you can't trust it until way into it. When they constantly make the promise and then break it, they do the small thing to erode the trust. Oh, I'm going to take you somewhere, but then it don't happen. I'm going to get you something, and then it don't happen. We're going to do this, and then it don't happen. Yeah, I'm going to do that, and then it don't happen. And then every time it doesn't happen, it's an excuse. Why? It's a perfectly plausible reason why it didn't happen. Why it couldn't happen. Lots of times it was your fault it didn't happen. Because they'll promise to do something, and then right before they have to fulfill it, a lot of times they'll pick a fight with you. It can be a very small little disagreement, and then that'll be the reason why they didn't do whatever it was that they said that they were going to do. So this erodes the trust. And yes, Nick Cannon said he was diagnosed as a narcissistic personality disorder. I knew he was a narc when he said that he When he said in that clip, when he was talking to Dr. Bryant, when he said, I'll be any kind of man you want me to be, I said, oh, you're a narc. Because they mirror. That's in order to get you reeled in. So he's like, so then he had to come out and say that he actually got diagnosed as a narcissist. We knew that. They mirror your behavior, and their apologies are mostly fake. They're always fake. Their apologies are always fake. They never apologize for real because to apologize means that they did something wrong, but they're never wrong. So the apology is like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but, and everything after the but is gonna be a devaluation of you, and it's gonna be your fault. Okay. Yeah, I knew Nick was a narc when he said that. And then before he came out with that diagnosis, he was talking about how he broke up with Mariah and why he broke up with her. He literally said she ain't never do nothing to him. He literally said that. He was like, she never do nothing to me. We never argued. She was not argumentative. He was like, she was sweet to me. She was good to me. My problem with Mariah is that she was Mariah. She was way in another stratosphere of celebrity and wealth and all of that type of stuff. And I just could not tolerate being essentially in her shadow. That's Narc. They can't be supportive. They have to be in dynamics where they are in control. The reason he got with her is because of her wealth and network and connection. He thrived off of that. He learned business from her. He learned how to do certain things and how to move around like she move around in terms of wealth, keeping her wealth, doing some business, doing, things of that nature. Whatever it is that she know about that stuff, that's what he got from her. She was good supply. And after he got what he felt he needed, and he no longer needed her for that, he was on to the next. Like he literally said she wasn't doing nothing to him. But see, if you're a narc, like he is self-admittedly, you can't. He was right to say that he couldn't tolerate it. He really couldn't. He really could not. He's not lying about that. He's telling the absolute truth about that. There was no way that he could have it was a surprise that he maintained it that long. That's why he can't really say nothing bad about her. He couldn't really do a smear campaign for her. He couldn't do. That's how you know she wasn't doing nothing to him, because he couldn't do a smear campaign. Thank you, Mogul, for your contribution. I appreciate you. Thank you, Sways, that put her in a trade portal. We can swap her for cooking with Kaya. Thank you, C. for your super stick. Appreciate you. Thank you, Two Toss, at Cooking with Crimson Cure, the deep fry. I appreciate you. Thank you, 1972 OG Tony. So every dark-skinned guy has a horror story about trying to date black women from teen years. They say they want tall, dark, and handsome, but it's cap. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not going to invalidate your experience, but dark skin has been like my type. And I know a lot of women that prefer dark-skinned men. Like a whole type. Like it's a whole thing. So my apologies if that had been your experience. If you experienced women that didn't want to be with you because you were dark, you know, but I don't know. We had that was a whole, yeah, dark skinned men always been in style. I don't know a time where dark skinned men wasn't in style. Y'all always been in style. I don't know about that. Because I tell you one thing, my husband chocolatey, and I like every shade of the chocolate. Okay, the chocolate is chocolating. Thank you, LJ, for your contribution. Appreciate you. Thank you, Jared. Say he suffers from a mother wound. Mama called him a mistake publicly, made him a pleaser to not be a burden. Easy he fell for the groomer at 16. Thank you, Jasmine. Says been a member for 2 months. I appreciate you. So what's the true end goal of a narc? When will they end up feeling, and when they don't? Well, let me put it this way. They're always empty. There's no rock bottom to them. This is why they move on from supply to supply to supply, because they're always empty. They're always like that, though. The grandiose thing is a cover for the insecurity that they can't or won't see to. Thank you, Siobhan. Say, oh my God, you described my sister to a T, straight narc mixed with hyena. And thank you, Miss Mia, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. That was not Nick's story, though. That wasn't Nick's story. And trust and believe, a narc never misses the opportunity to make you look bad, if they can. So he literally said she wasn't doing nothing to him. He said they never argued about nothing. Never was like a big disappointment or discord in their household. So he could, I don't know why he would lie about it if he is, but ain't nobody going like care about it, even if he was. Nobody's gonna care about him being a teenager when they started. I'm gonna tell you about that. It's not gonna work for men the way it worked for women. The reason that it don't work, that this doesn't work for men, people aren't outraged when it's the men versus when it's the women doing it. And I'm gonna be real honest about it. The reason why nobody really don't get outraged by it, even if it is a grooming, because I was of the opinion that Brittany Renner groomed PJ Washington as well, and I did a show about it. The women know it's grooming. We know it's grooming, and we know it's wrong. The problem is that the men don't, and they don't say nothing about it. I have had too many conversations with too many men of all ages and backgrounds that was straight up targeted by older women when they were children, 12, 13 years old, targeted by 20-something-year-old women. We know it's wrong. It's great. It's statutory great. It's SA. We know that. But when we talk about the men, or when we talk to the men unfailingly, if the perpetrator was a female, it's different when the perpetrator is a man. But when the perpetrator is a female, The men always dismiss it. I have never heard of a man be like, nah, I was traumatized by a woman touching me or trying to have sex with me or coming on to me or being in any way inappropriate sexually. The men don't see it as abuse. Now, I don't really know why, but the men don't count it as abuse when it's a woman. If it's a man, it's definitely abuse. But if it's a woman, they'll be like, oh, well, you know, it was a woman. She liked me. I went for it. And the other men around him will sort of like congratulate it. Like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? But did you hit it though? See, the women know that it's wrong. But since the men don't collectively say that they're traumatized by it, that it ruins them, that it hurts them, and that they don't like that, and that the men don't come out and collectively say that they are victims of this. This is not a good thing to them. This is not some type of feather in a cap. This is not some type of mark of their masculinity or anything like that. If the men do not say that they are victims across the board whenever this stuff happens, then the world isn't going to say the men are victims. See, women across the board be like, nope, victims. Victims. He touched me, he looked at me, I didn't like it. Victim. Now, a lot of women take it overboard, but if a 14-year-old boy meets a 20-year-old woman and she give it up to him and he tell his friends or he tell his daddy, they are not going to be mad. They are not pressing charges. Especially in our community. Did we understand that? This is how female abusers get away with it. This is how they get away with it. If they're abusing boys, female abusers, female SA rapists, because that's what they are. I personally don't see it no differently than from a woman to do it when a man do it. When you're messing with kids, you messing with kids. I don't care. It's not no different to me. But female abusers get away with it because the boys are like, well, at the end of the day, I got me some cootie cat. And I don't know what we would have to do really in our community to change that concept and to understand that sexual abuse to boys is just as wrong and just as egregious, no matter who the perpetrator is, than it is for girls. Because Females who SA, they do it to the girls too. They do it to the girls. Nobody blinks an eye. When the women are the abusers, when the women are the perpetrators, somehow, some way, it seems less egregious, and I don't know why. When it's just as harmful. It's just as harmful. Thank you, R. Lee said, Travis feels lucky to have her because he probably felt he could never get someone like her. That's why he's fighting so hard and can't see things. And Alpha Male Pimp Network said, I've seen single moms in our community verbally and psychologically abuse their sons, book breaking them and turning them soft. I think we've all kind of witnessed that to some level. After these messages, we'll be right back. Make sure that you go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. This is the time to make a wonderful order for yourself and for your family and friends for some of the best personal care products on the market. Once again, that link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. If this is going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using a promo code Crimson. Once again, that link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Thank you, Miss Mia. Before we cut out of here,
Diary of Dark One's Son is a look into the thoughts, opinions, and experiences of a young black man who is wrestling with the tough task of trying to make something out of himself in a very racist and hateful environment. It covers in detail the thoughts of a man as he observes and eventually learns how to cope and deal with the world around him. It is a story of a man who, while beset with many obstacles, learns how to overcome them in order to accomplish his goals and aspirations. This book is not for the faint of heart, and the opinions that are shared in this book can be deemed very offensive to some readers. If you think that you will be offended by the opinions shared in this book, the answer is simple. This is not the book for you. This book is merely the opinions of one man, and it should be taken as such. However, if you really wish to gain insight into the thoughts of a young black male in today's society, then look no further. Read this book. Excerpt from the book. From the chapter, Am I Visible or What? One day when I was walking home from school, I came across this other brother who was walking my way. In his eyes, I could see the sadness, the same sadness that was in mine. I knew exactly what was going through his mind too. He was feeling like an absolute nobody. How did I know, you ask? Because I was feeling the same way at the moment, right when I walked past him. Have you ever felt, if you are a black man reading this, that you were invisible to the world? Not because you want to be, but because people refuse to acknowledge your presence. Read more when you purchase this book. This book can be purchased from lulu.com.
So that link for the purchase of the book, if you want to support the brother, is pinned to the top of the chat for the ebook. If you would like a paperback version, that link is in the description box. Thank you guys for rocking out with me, because I knew this was going to be a deeper conversation about being in certain kinds of relationships and how a lot of this stuff plays out, especially since we have what appears to be examples of this stuff. And I just thought it would be prudent to sort of delve into it. You know, not my intention to offend anyone or anything like that. It's just that these, in my opinion, are lessons that need to be learned. You know, if the people involved can't see it, at least it can serve as a case study for those who are not directly involved, but need the information in order to safeguard themselves away from problematic relationships and problematic people. All right. All right. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.